Hi students, a very pleasant and warm greetings to you all. Hope you are doing good. Last session we were seeing about JavaScript, right? And in this session we are going to see about JavaScript variables, right? Variable is a memory location where the values can be stored, right? Variable means it is a symbolic name for a value. The declared keyword for these variables are var. var. That keyword is used here to denote a variable in this JavaScript, right? Every variable will have a name called identifier. Okay, variable means it is a location or it is the memory location where the values can be stored, right? The variable is a symbolic name for a value. These variables are declared with the var keyword in this JavaScript, and all this variable has a name called identifier, right? Now we are going to see the basic data types and declaring variables, right? Every variable will have a data type, right? That indicates which kind of data the variable has, right? That means um, if 1, 2, 3 means that is a number, right? A, B, C, D means that is a letter, right? So like that it will have a data type. It is nothing but it is finding the type of data. What data it is? That is data type, right? This um, basic data types in JavaScript and the are string, numbers, and booleans. Okay, here all the variable will have will be of some data type, right? This identifies which kind of data the variable holds, right? The basic data types in this JavaScript are string, numbers, booleans, right? String means it is a list of characters, and this string literal. This indicates by enclosing the characters in single or double quotes. Okay, the string may contain a single character or multiple characters, including white space and special characters. And like new line means it will have /n. That is a string, right? And the next data type is numbers. Numbers means it can be a integer or it may be floating point numerical value and numeric literals. These are all specified in the natural way. Numbers means it will include integer 1, 2, 3. These are numbers, right? Floating point numerical value means 1.25. That is a floating point, right? If it has a point and the value before and after the point means it is numbers. Okay, the data type is number. Boolean can be any one of true or false. Okay, Boolean literals are indicated by using true or false directly in the source code. Okay, in the source code it will be having only the value, the answer or the result will be true or false. Okay, variables are declared in JavaScript using var, that keyword, right? This allocates storage space for new data and it indicates the interpreter that a new identifier is in use, right? Declaring a variable in JavaScript means we'll have var, that is a variable, right? var, no is a variable. var comma var b or var a comma b, like that also you can denote the variable in a single line also, right? And next one is rules for naming variable. First rule is first character must be a letter or it can be a underscore also, right? Number cannot be the first character of a variable, right? In this variable naming, the first point is the first character of the variable can be a letter or it can be an underscore also, but it should not be a number, right? Next, the rest of the variable name can have letter, number, underscore, or anything else other than space, symbols and punctuation marks, right? In this variable naming, we cannot use space, symbols and punctuation marks, but we can use any letter, number, underscore also, right? This variable naming are case sensitive. That means if you are writing a variable name as register with R capital, that is different if you are writing another variable named register with small r, it is different, right? It is case sensitive. So if you are writing it with capital letter, you have to mention it with capital letter only. If you are writing small letter, you have to mention it with small letter only, right? There is no limit to the length of the variable name. Okay, variable name can have one letter or two letter, or it can have 10, 20 letters also, right? Okay, all these programming languages have a supply of words. That means it has a number of words that are used internally by the language, and that cannot be used for the variable names, right? JavaScript reserved words means, some words will be using for as a code, right? That codes reserved words, that is some words like document.write or some HTML, that words and all we cannot use as a variable, right? So these are the rules for naming a variable. Here first one is, first character can be a letter or it can be underscore, but it should not be a number. And the next point is, there is, other than the first character, other things can be a letter or a number or an underscore also. We cannot use symbols, space and punctuation marks, right? And the third point is, JavaScript variables are case sensitive, right? If you are writing it with small letter, you have to write with small letter only. If you are writing it first letter or something with capital letter, means you have to mention the variable in that capital letter only in every places, right? There is no limit to the length of the variable name, right? Variable name means, variable name variable can be of 2 letters or 3 letters or 10 letters or 20 letters or 50 letters also, right? JavaScript reserved words means some words which are used as codes, right? Those words cannot be used as a variable, right? And the next one is scope of variable. Scope means it is a lifetime, right? Scope of a variable means lifetime of a variable. Of a source code means it is given in global variable. Global variable and some variable will have global scope and local scope also, right? Global variables and local variables. Global variables means it can be defined anywhere in the JavaScript code, right? It can be defined everywhere. If the variables are declared within a function, we'll be saying that it is defined only within the body of the function. They are local variables and it has local scope, right? If the variable is declared if the variable can be declared everywhere in the JavaScript, we'll say it as global variable. And if the variable is declared within the function, and if it is defined only within the body of the function, means they are local variables and it has local scope, right? The next one is assigning variable values, right? We are going to assign some value to the variable, right? Variables can be assigned initial values when they are declared itself. That means when you are declaring a variable var n, means if you are declaring a variable n, there itself you can give the value also. Variable n is equal to 10 means the value of the variable n will be declared as 10 in the starting, in the beginning itself, right? If you are giving a variable name as numeric data, var numeric data is equal to 3.14, right? So this is the thing, we are assigning the value initially itself, right? Or in between also multiple variables can be declared with one var statement also. That means var n is equal to 1, m is equal to 2, o is equal to 3. Likewise, with one var statement also you can declare a number of variables, but it should be separated with commas, right? You have to give comma in between each variable name, right? Here they have given the example var n is equal no1 is equal to 50, no2 is equal to 5065, right? The next is JavaScript allows the implicit declaration of variables by using them on the left hand side of the assignment. In the JavaScript, if you see, there is no need to indicate the data type during the variable declaration, right? These JavaScript variables are untyped and it is dynamically data typed. That means initially you can assign a value of any data type to a variable, and after that later on you can assign a value of different data type to the same variable. For example, if you see var value is equal to 100, and in that same value variable you can give another one value, var value is equal to JavaScript. So you have assigned another value to the particular variable, right? Here we have seen three types of variable declaration, right? First one is we are assigning the values to the variables initially itself. That means when you are declaring a name, when you are giving a name for the variable itself, you are declaring the value of that also, right? var n is equal to 1. If you are giving it like that, it is initially you are assigning the value. And the next type is you can assign multiple variables in a single variable statement itself. var no1 is equal to 50, comma, and it will be separated with comma, right? Comma no2 is equal to 5065. That is the second type. And another one thing is, if you are assigning a value to a variable in one line, you can assign another value to the same variable in the next line itself, right? If you are assigning var n is equal to 1, in the next line itself you can assign another value there, var n is equal to 2, right? So this is the thing about assigning values to variable, right? So today we have seen about JavaScript variables, right? We saw about basic data types and declaring variables. We saw about string, numbers and boolean, right? And then rules for naming a variable, and we saw about scope of variables and assigning values to a variable, right? And the next one is JavaScript literals, right? Literal means it is a fixed value which is given to a variable in source code, right? Source code means it is the code which is present in that itself, right? If it means literal is a fixed value. It will have a particular value. If you are just it will be declared in the source code itself, right? These are often used to initialize the variables, right? This value this may be an integer, or it may be a floating point or character or a string or a boolean also, right? You know what is integer, what is floating point and all. What is integer? Integer means it is a number, any number, 1, 2, 3, all are integer. Floating point means if it is 1.23 means it is a floating point. That means before and after the point, if you are having the before and after the decimal point, if you are having the number or integer or value before and after that floating point, it is floating point constant. And if a b c, that is character, right? That is character. And if there is a group of characters, we'll say it is string, right? If it is written as a b c means it is, if there is a group of character, it is string, right? Boolean means true or false. JavaScript literals means you are giving a fixed value to a variable, right? In the source code itself, you have to give this value. Here, if you see var integer constant, int underscore const, that is integer constant is equal to 250. So wherever you are using this, that will be it will have a fixed value of 250, right? Float constant is 250.85. and at last they have given a semicolon. You have to give the semicolon correctly. And character variable var character constant CHARCONST character underscore constant is equal to a. That a will be coming inside single quotes, right? That is character constant. Variable string constant is equal to, inside double quotes they have given Raman. That is a string constant, and at last you have semicolon, right? Variable var boolean underscore const is equal to true, and at last you have semicolon. That means boolean constant, right? Here you have to write a statement. Let's see the general syntax of it. If you need some JavaScript literals, here we will be giving document write. Inside the bracket you will give string. If it is a string, you have to give the data type first plus var. So here we have given the value given to a variable, right? So this is about JavaScript literals, right? Next one is a type casting in JavaScript. Here we have implicit casting and explicit casting, right? So we'll see about this type casting, that is type conversion, in the next session, right? So before that, we just learned about this JavaScript variables, rules for naming the variable, scope of variables, assigning the values to a variable, and JavaScript literals also, right? Thank you for your valuable time. Stay home, stay safe, take care, bye.